Hi, I'm Yanina Carter, your host today for In the House Media, The Beat. And on that note, I'm going to introduce you to Carolyn Sims Nesmith, who is the CEO, founder, director of CSM Productions. But she has a serious history in the music industry, and I want to share some of that with you. There's an event coming up on November 5th called the Gospel Soul Series concert that CSM Production is putting on. And gospel is food for the soul. So before we get into that, let's find out about Carolyn, the mastermind behind this event. Carolyn, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
You've been in this game for some time now. How did you
Yes.
actually get started in the music?
Into music. My whole family was musical. When I was a kid, my uncles and my dad, I never shared this too much, but my uncles and my dad would get in the house. They would come from all over and they would start harmonizing every Christmas morning and they would sing. And I was so used to having that in my life. And my parents sang. And of course, church. To going to
Church.
church, going
Hmm.
to church and getting in the choirs, and I just loved music, and I loved the messages that I was hearing from a child on. So as a result, that just followed me into this present day. Yes, it
Into
did.
this present day. I
Yeah.
know I grew up in the church also, and there's nothing like gospel music. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it really does penetrate through you and gives you hope for tomorrow. And
Yes,
I
it
think
did.
that's something that's important. But in your journey, you
Mm-hmm.
have founded an organization called the Freedom Choir of Philadelphia. And I
Yes.
was reading a little bit about the Freedom Choir of Philadelphia. I said, you guys weren't only singing, you were involved in civic engagement, marching, demonstrations. Tell me a
Right.
little bit about how the choir came about and some of the things you guys have done.
Yes, Freedom Choir Philadelphia came about as a result of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. Uh, I wrote a play called Beautiful People when I was in a junior college, and the students there, we were talking about minority. It
Mhm.
might have been a handful of us in this particular junior college. As a matter of fact, I thought my mother punked me. Anyway, so I was in this college with a handful of us, and I was feeling like we were being neglected and ignored. So
Okay.
I went to the dean, who for some reason thought I was a wonderful person, thank God, and he said, and I asked him, we used to have something called chapel. There were always uh, no African American or black person came to speak. And I was trying to figure that out, and that
Okay.
was a mandatory attendance we had to take. And I said, well, why aren't we having any you know black people or African Americans coming to speak? And
Right. Right. Aren't we represented, right?
yeah, just a little bit. And you know what? He was honestly surprised. It never dawned on him. And you could tell by his look that, wow. He says,
Never
I
thought about that.
no. He says, well, let's see what we can do about that. And thereafter, then there were diverse people coming in to speak. And I felt a little better about that. The
About
other
what
thing,
time? About what time in the year would you say? 19 what?
this was in 1968,
See, and
1969.
it was funny. I was going to say
Mhm.
like 50 or 40 years in the business,
Watch
but then
out
I
now.
said,
Yeah,
so then I said, wait a
well,
minute, let me ask you, because I knew you're talking about Martin Luther King, not Martin
mhm.
Luther, but you're talking about Nelson Mandela for sure,
Yes,
which we
yes.
haven't even gotten to. So I
Mhm.
knew it was back in some time. So continue on. I'm sorry.
Sure, not a problem. So in 1968, I got with this brother named Tyrone Murray, never forget him, from New York. He was there.
Okay.
And I said, we need to write a play about black folks. So we did something called Beautiful People, and we traced our roots from Africa to the present time. The dean said it's a good idea that you did it, Carolyn. You got my 100% support, and we did this play. And I was also involved with a young man at the time, Reverend Horace Means. He was the president of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference at that particular time,
Mhm.
and it was the first time in the history of that school that so many African Americans came that couldn't hold it. See, Dolores Tucker was in the house because Anise went to
Okay.
the,
Okay. Well, she
you
was
know what I'm
all
saying? Come
she
on,
was a civil rights advocate
there you
trying to
go.
make a difference. Mhm.
There you go. And Horace Means, I can't even remember all of the people. The house was packed. They had to park on the lawn.
All right.
And the Kula Mele Malay dance troupe came from Philly because I was a Philly girl. I was associated with a lot of cultural groups, and they had a lot of singers that came from Philly, and we put and immersed it into what we were doing there with the students that were there, and we put on this production. People laughed, cried, shouted. I mean, they were just amazed at the presentation.
So it wasn't just singing.
That's what's happened. This choir appeared in the play. There you go. And the people were like moved to tears. They were like, what? And then we did some really spiritual songs, and they were like, what? And so after it was over, the then president of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference of Philadelphia said, Carolyn, why don't you keep this choir? I'm saying, I'm a kid. I'm 18 years old trying to go through college. I don't have time for no choir. And some of these people are grown. And as a result of me saying no and God saying yes, I had the choir. I thought I didn't have to have this choir, but it was something that happened. And this choir.
How many members did you have at that time period?
Okay. About 20. It grew to about 40 some odd members.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Now it started from there, but I mean, it just branched out to people who wanted to join in from
yes,
the
it was a community
area.
choir. This was not what you would call a regular choir. I think when you say choir, the thought processes are okay. They sing in churches, they sing in concerts. This is not that kind of choir.
Right.
And maybe
I've seen you perform. I've seen you perform. Remember?
Okay.
And I was so in awe that after the show, everybody wants to stand up and you just feel rejuvenated because of the energy that you deliver. So you're right. It's not like a normal choir.
Not at all.
Something a little different. And you offer spirituals as well.
Yes, we take it back to spirituals. We do plays. Right. I mean, that's another. We have in our choir, we have actors, we have playwrights, we have dancers, we have people who toured. They came to join the choir because they wanted to sing, but we made room for their other gifts and talents. And as a result, and I loved writing plays and things. You know, I took a play called Believe to New York to be, I never told you that, reviewed by the Frank Silvera's Writers Workshop, where all the producers, Black producers and artists came, they read your script, and then they critiqued you. Well, this little girl, and I was very shy, believe it or not, went into this place and got my play read, and I was sitting on the rafters that they have with all these folk, and I saw other people being critiqued, and I saw how hard they won these folk. I'm like, I got to sit in front of all these people, turn around, look at them after they read my play, and then just tear me to pieces. So I sat there, and they said, Carolyn. I said, oh, Lord. And this they said the name of the play, and the people read that play, and let me tell you, there was not one negative critique.
All right.
That was not one.
That's what I'm talking about.
And as a matter of fact, one of the people directors of that Frank Silvera's Writers Workshop said, I want to come to Philadelphia and direct that. And he came to Philadelphia for little or nothing to direct that because it was about us. And it moved him to the point that he did that. As a matter of fact, I hope she doesn't beat me up, but Lorena Marshall Blake, she was.
I know Lorena.
I'm sure you do. She was a part of that play. She was a part of Freedom Choir, as a matter of fact. To think that, I never said that before. She played the part of B, which was a club owner who was able to introduce people who represented Billie Holiday, Duke Ellington. We had a guy who was like 6 feet something tall who was a dancer. The way that scene opened, he would run on the stage, jump in the air, and do a double flip and land. And then the 1930s music would start, and then we did the hook up, all those things. We researched this thing for almost half a year to get it down. And it was something to behold. It toured for about, 6, 7, 8, I don't know how many years.
That's what I was going to ask you. Did it actually tour? Did you go around to some other cities? Or
we were in North Carolina. We were at Winston-Salem University. We rode into North Carolina. They had big posters with us because we were fabulous. We had the Boas and all that. And it was on a big board. And one of my guys who spends a lot of money on his shades saw it and he broke his shades. And nonetheless, we would go to the hotel and there was a big board, welcome cast, I believe. Yeah, we've done, as people say, been there and done that. And it was a wonderful experience. We went to the North Carolina College of Performing Arts, gave a workshop there. We did Greensboro State Coliseum. We were there. We did something.
Traveled all over. Why did that end? I mean, or what?
We were doing it for 10 years.
Okay.
That play ran for 10 years.
Oh, the
And
play.
he,
Okay, the play
yeah, the
last.
play lasted for 10 years. And after that, we came back to Philadelphia. And keep in mind, some of this time I was in college. I had to come home on the weekends to have rehearsals and things.
Okay.
So that's how the Freedom Choir, who was a part of this whole process, and we involved every part of the city, from the College of Performing Arts. At that point, they gave us dances and they came down with us.
Wow.
It was something to behold. And there's an orchestration that was written for it that I still have, that I probably plan to do in some time in the future, because that thing is a monster. But we do need to do it again, because it talks about our history. And the premise is a little college student said to his grandfather, "Oh, I'm glad I graduated." No, pre-college student. "I'm glad I graduated from high school. Pop, pop, I'm going to get married to my girlfriend." Pop said, "You just don't know, do you?" That's a thought. You don't know where you come from, do you?
He said, "You just don't know."
Store. You have no store. You ain't going. You go to college and get some education. But
Right.
before he just didn't say that. He gave him the history from Africa to the present time. And after he finished with that history, we worked the history out.
Okay.
And the little young boy said, "Shoot, I got the way we can wait on that, then, Pop. I got you. I got you."
Okay.
And that's how the story unfolded. So yeah. And the Freedom Choir evolved from that whole experience.
Whole thing. And you know, you were talking about your play was done that ran for like 10 years. But you know, just recently they brought back out The Wiz, Early, Porgy and Bess. So who's to say?
That's right. That's
Your
right.
opportunity isn't over.
That's right.
But you did take the opportunity, and as part of the Freedom Choir, you were involved again, like I said, in some marches, demonstrations, and so forth.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that, because the power of your voice went beyond just singing and entertainment. It dealt with other things. So tell us a little bit about that.
That's correct. I don't believe in just singing or talking. I do believe you got to do something about something. So Girard College, as you know, was not accepting any minority students. So we were part of the whole Girard College movement. We walked around the whole.
I remember that. What time, what year, like I'm back on the year, what years were that? Do you recall?
I cannot recall.
And I have Tanya Waller that's trying to get in. So forgive me if you see me looking down. But yeah, tell me what year was that with Girard College? Because I remember that was a big thing.
Could have been in the 70s, 1970s, somewhere around that.
Okay, I remember that was a big thing in the city.
It was huge. Judge Durham was part of it. Georgie, I mean, a lot of people. And
Georgie Woods?
And David Rich. Oh, I got to tell you about him in a minute. And David P. Richardson, David P. Richardson.
I remember David P. Richardson.
He was Mr. Freedom Choir.
Oh, was he? He was involved.
He go everywhere we went. Carolyn, you got to talk about your choir. Carolyn, you got to do it with your choir. Carolyn. And just a little offside, I worked in the community, and there was these guys in the bottom, and they just, hey, and as quietly as it's kept, we gave one of the first Dr. Martin Luther King commemoration programs and celebrations.
You were the first one that did that?
Candlelight service. We had. I was in the civil rights movement, so every civil rights person in Philadelphia, Reverend Shepard, Marshall Shepard, people whose names I can't, David P. Richardson, people whose names I can't even call right now. Grace the Diaz, to let people know what we did and why we did it and how we should be still part of the fight. Because I wanted him to impress upon these young guys who were fighting and gang one, Hoop Street, Astronaut. I wanted him to impress upon the people, you don't have to do that. And after Dave Richardson got through with those guys, they were so wonderful to work with. Their eyes were open. So we did things like that. And the candlelight service was amazing. They turned off the light and about 200 people lit those candles. It was amazing.
I didn't realize that, but I know you did some things with the Youth Study Center, Graterford Prison.
Right. That's right. The Youth Study Center, Graterford Prison. We did the fine arts, I think a museum. They had no African American ever appeared there like a performance. They would have performances every now and again. Right. We were the first to do that. We also did the Mike Douglas show here in Philadelphia.
Yes,
come on,
Michael Douglas
show.
It was. I remember that show. You did the first show, right?
We were there. Okay. And then also, as quiet as it kept, when they opened Progress Plaza. We marched down the street for Progress Plaza opening with the Reverend Leon Sullivan. I can't remember, and I told somebody I can't remember all the stuff we did. We were in the struggle, okay? We just didn't
And one of the things you did was the President Nelson Mandela.
Ooh, that was something. Yeah.
What was that?
We were at the Civic Center. It was called the Civic Center at the time. And on 34th Street, right across the street from Children's Hospital and University of Penn. There was a reception given for him, and we were the guest choir. This is funny because we didn't even, I never shared this with you. So they said, okay, choir, let me tell you this. I said, yeah, you got to sing one song. Now you got to get on, you got to get off. Because a lot of people come. I said, okay. So we went up there and we had all of our dignitaries. Everybody was there. And so we sang our one song and we got off. And as we were walking, the man running down, wait a minute. Y'all got to come back. I can't even. And I said, oh, no, you didn't. And so we came back again, and we were so honored that he wanted to see us again, because just like the energy we have now, you can imagine how we were 18, 19, 20 years old. We were out of our minds with it. So it was just a beautiful experience. And I just feel honored to even be there for him, to have him feel that good about being there among us. It was a wonderful, wonderful experience.
What an experience. The choir has really given you a lot of exposure and involvement in the community. Yes. But from all of that transpired something else that became your baby in 2011, CSM Productions. You've taken all of what you've known and you put it together under one roof. And tell us what CSM Productions is.
Okay. CSM Productions is a place where you can feel safe with your talent. We have people who come to express themselves, singers, all kinds of artists. We put on productions like the Gospel Soul series that we're getting involved with now. And even in the summertime, during the summertime, we work with young people. It's their time. Just 9 to 3 every day from July through August. And after that, the training that they receive from the top artists in Philadelphia, they come in and they work with them. They produce a play that talks about who they are, what they're going through, and what's on their minds. And this last one was just totally awesome. And
what was the subject this last time?
It was called Reduce the Drama and Enhance the baby boomer, I'm just doing too many things. But it talked about reconnect from the drama.
Reconnecting from the
drama. And connect to love. That's what it is. Reconnect from the drama.
What was the drama? What was the storyline?
Gun violence. That's what we asked them what they want to talk about.
Prevalent right now today in our cities, all over.
That's right. They tell us what they want to talk about. So this is the unique thing about the program that I love, that I do with a young man by the name of Richard Murray. We even thought about this concept. This is what we're going to do. We said we're going to have 6 weeks with these kids. It's 9 to 3 every day, Monday through Friday. This is what we're going to do. We want to know what's on their minds. We really want to dig into that. And whatever it is going to be result in a play. Original music, professionally produced. You should hear the music came out of this one. Professionally produced original music. Dance and choreography by Antoinette Coward Gilmore, who has a dance for that girl. And
who's the choreographer? Who's the voice person? Okay.
I work with their voices and
who helps with the acting?
Richard Murray. This is the name of the gentleman.
Who's the director of the play?
Richard Murray.
Okay.
I'm always in his ear.
And what about the music? Who was in charge of the music?
Dr. Ricky Kennebrew. That man can put some beats and things. He worked with those kids. It's amazing. And the kids knew that this was their safe house. We would start in the morning and we would get in a circle. This was introduced by Richard every day in the circle to let them know they can just feel free here. So he would ask them, what are you grateful for today? And the kids were like, okay, I'm glad I can get and be here. I said, or I'm glad that I saw my sister or my brother who they've been suffering. You hear things, family stuff. And they're great
experiences, what they know, what they've seen around them, and how it had an effect on them.
That's it. And that play was so they're talking about, they want to do a documentary about this place. So I'm trying to see how we can fit that in, because Dr. Ricky Kennebrew is just a beast when it comes to video and movies and music and all of that. And so we're trying to work with him to see how we can make this
I know
happen.
he has an event coming up as well, and we're going to be talking to him next week because he has a
Mhm.
major event coming up
Yes.
dealing with not the world here, but beyond. That's all I have
Mm-hmm.
to say. Not the world here,
Mm-hmm.
but beyond.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about that. Now, okay, it was formed in 2011.
Mm-hmm.
You've had different things. We talked about the play, but you've also had some different shows, some
Yes, we
different
have.
artists and so forth that
We
you've been
had
to.
an international jazz artist, Miss Denise King, who came there with her trio, and we had a ball. We also had Sherry Wilson Butler there.
Okay.
This is a place where artists should feel at home. They can
And
come, and if they have something trying to test out, they can test it out there with their folk, and they can feel right at home. As a matter of fact,
now,
Mhm.
go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just talking to Nakia Dilliard, who's an actor. He was in The Wire and all of that, and he's going to come to the gospel workshop or a gospel soul series on Sunday.
Good. Good.
And he's also I'm really proud of him because he's a Philly guy and he's in movies and he was in the Wonder World. I probably said the wrong word, and he was, and
Okay,
he
I mess up too.
okay, and he was definitely a regular on The Wire,
Okay.
and some of the things he said
Well, he's
about
coming back to support you.
yeah.
He's coming back to support
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
That's what's important.
And I'm just loving him for just doing that and also talking about his connections to the young people. He has an acting school with young kids and he's just in the community.
Okay.
Yeah, loving
Okay.
it. Mm-hmm.
So you have an event coming up, but one of the things that you do offer is CSM Productions not only
Mm-hmm.
put on different shows, they also offer their facility to people who are interested in using it.
Oh, yes,
Tell
it
us
is
about that.
such an intimate space that you can come to, and just we have what professional lighting. I mean, state of the art sound, the whole thing for any artist that wants to come and do a presentation, or you might want to be in the place because you have a birthday party, or you have some kind of an event,
Okay.
and you like that
Workshop,
workshop
seminar.
whatever that you think you can hold in there, we're ready to work with it and very, very, very reasonable. We work with our folk because we know how difficult it is today and how high things are. So we are very competitive. So we're looking forward to anyone who's interested in using our facilities for, like you said, workshops, book signings, even photographers who want to take pictures there with their.
Yeah, you know what? I
We
didn't
do
think
that
about
too.
that. You're right.
We do
You're
that
right.
too. We've had
But,
some
but
in
let
there.
me tell you, the place, CSM Productions, is
Mm-hmm.
located on Scotts Mills Lane.
Yeah,
What's the address?
3510. 3510. It's going 3510 Scotts Lane.
Scotts
And we're
Lane.
in studio 3015A. And don't let Scotts Lane fool you. Every time you say lane or road, they think it's a distance. It's
No,
right off of what can I
East
say?
Falls. Right at
It's
East
in East Falls,
Falls.
right off of Ridge and Allegheny. How's that?
Mhm, mhm.
Make it close so you can see it.
Nice, quaint atmosphere. I love the environment,
Oh,
the
great.
community. It's like a little separate community. And
Isn't
I
it?
walked in and I rode up in that area and I was like, wow, you have restaurants, you have
Mhm.
entertainment, you have whatever you want is right there.
Yes, it
So
is.
I
Yes.
advise people, if you haven't been out, come on out and enjoy the atmosphere and what CSM Production has to offer. But on
Mhm.
November 5th, they have a big event that we're going to talk
Oh,
about.
I am so excited.
And we have a featured artist that was supposed to call in. I
Mhm.
think she said she got tied up or something,
Mhm.
and for us to go ahead and do it without her, which
Okay.
of course I'm going to tell you who she is and everything. I'll give you some background, but we have an event coming up on the 5th, November
Yes.
5th. Tell us about that event. That is the actual Gospel Soul Series concert. And I believe
Yes.
this is your third or fourth one.
It's our third one. Mhm.
Okay.
Oh, we're so excited. And let me tell you how excited we are. We have rehearsal with this young lady you're going to talk about in a minute. And she sang so well. One of the guys said, "You better sing." And I said, "Oh my gosh." Anyway, so I said, I looked up, I got you. I understand. I'm feeling it too. So anyway, she is phenomenal. She's phenomenal
Okay.
because she's just so, I think this word might be overused, but I'm going to say it anyway. Authentic. She's herself.
Okay.
And when she sings, My word. You want to hear this young lady sing.
And that's
And
Reverend Tanya
very,
Waller
that's right.
Waddy.
There it is.
She
And
is the
yeah.
associate minister of the Northeast Baptist Church in
Mm-hmm.
Frankfurt.
Mm-hmm.
And she's bringing her talent to
Yes.
the stage. And she's also gonna. There's some other performers. Who's
Yes, it's going to be the Freedom Choir Ensemble.
Mhm.
You know, like I said, there's freedom still. And some of those folk were with me 50, 40 years ago. You know,
Okay.
they're still there. And we're going to even have a little bit of theater going on. We got Reverend Floyd and Sister Rosa Lee, which is his devoted wife, are going to be there, you know. And last time they were in attendance with us, they were talking about, I can go to church if the creek don't rise, you know. So now they went to church, and you'll see them because they're back from church. And they're going to talk about gospel music and how that music impacted upon that church service. And
All
the whole
right.
time they're going to be teaching, because you're going to hear things that will let
Okay.
you know why it's so important.
I told you
Music.
it's an entertaining show. It's not a regular gospel show. Go
No.
ahead. Who's Ashley?
And Ashley is my adopted. I said adopted because mother. You got her daughter, and she sings. She has a beautiful voice. She's a beautiful vocalist, and she was with me since she was about 2, 3 years old. And I didn't tell you this 100 voice youth choir that toured here in Philadelphia, and
Okay.
she was a part of that. And you have me.
You're the most entertaining. You're
So,
so entertaining. I just love the show and everybody I invited. And they were like, Yanina, that was so nice. That was so nice.
mm,
I was like, right, you got to come out and see some more. And guess what? Then you have a following because remember, some of my friends came to your last event.
yes, they
and allowed you
did.
to play. I said,
Yes, they did.
I got people in places coming to this event
There
because
you
this
go.
one I can't make. I try to make it supported, but I'm in
Mhm.
Atlanta,
Right.
but Philadelphia is the home, so I try to come back at least every couple of months just so I could support some of the different businesses and professionals that are doing things like
Mhm.
yourself and that have me
Mhm.
involved.
I
But Miss
forgot one
Todd,
thing. Oh, I'm
say
sorry.
what?
I forgot one thing.
Okay, go ahead.
We have vendors.
There you go.
I
Mhm.
forgot my vendors, and they're very faithful. We have vendors, and also you're gonna have a little bit of food over there too. You know that, right?
Okay,
So
okay.
it's like a big celebration.
Right. So
Vendors.
come prepared with a little bit of money in your pocket
That's
because the
right.
vendors are there. They're not expensive. You can
No.
get some arts and crafts and
Mhm.
jewelry and
Mhm.
clothes and
Yes.
there's a variety of different things they have to offer. Very Afrocentric, most of them,
Mhm.
but that
Mhm.
deals with our culture. So there's nothing wrong with that.
That's correct. That's
Let
correct.
me let me tell you guys a little bit about Reverend Tanya
Mhm.
Waller Watt.
Mhm.
Again, I said she's the associate minister of the Northeast Baptist Church, which is on Frankfurt. But she
Mhm.
started singing at 3 years old too, at a young age. I mean, most artists seem like they come out young and have an
That's
interest
right.
like yourself early on. One of the things that she was able to do was she has been in a lot of different competitions, including the Apollo Theater, where she had a chance to sing Home from the movie,
Mm.
the play The Wiz, which I
Mhm.
just said is coming back out again. She also sang with some great artists, including Patti LaBelle as one of her background singers. She
Mhm.
sang with Bill Jolly, which all of us know because he's a local artist. I mean, musician, music director, so forth. But he's gone beyond Philadelphia and has worked with artists like Celine Dion and Dionne Warwick and some other people who he has helped out in the background. And I always like to bring him to the forefront though, because
Mhm.
in the background seems sometimes never to get noticed. So we
Mhm.
gotta let people know who they are because they really
Mhm.
make a difference. Edward Hawkins. You remember Edward Hawkins?
Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh happy day.
I
Stop
was
it.
going to say, oh, happy day.
Yes, indeed, ma'am.
Oh, so she's traveled along a while and she was involved and she's a member of the Freedom Choir
Exactly.
of
Exactly.
Philadelphia, as well
That's
as, is that the same as the
the same thing. This ensemble. Mm-hmm.
Freedom Choir Ensemble?
Mm-hmm.
And she's been with you guys for some time as well.
Let's see. She's so wonderful. She came. How did she come? She came as a result. I guess this is when she tells the story. I'll share her story.
Please,
Um,
thank you.
Dr. Lenora Young, Reverend Lenora Young, who's a minister here in Philadelphia, was supposed to be our guest for our first Gospel Soul series, if I remember correctly. She couldn't make it because she had some type of a procedure, and she asked Tanya if she could come. So Tanya came, and as they say, and wore us out. And so, oh
You
my
could have
Lord.
wore us out.
Wore us out. So when it was all said and done, and she saw us and we wore her out, and next thing I know, she said, "Well, I'm coming to the next rehearsal." So we were talking. I said, did you join the choir?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "So that's how that happened." So that was like
Nice.
2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. When we
Nice.
first
Nice.
met her,
Nice.
and she's been a part of us since that day. And it seems like she's been with us forever. Yeah.
I know she has a following with a lot of different
Oh,
churches, and
yes.
she's on more than one choir. And I know you guys expect a big turnout
Oh,
on
yes, we do.
November 5th.
Mm-hmm.
Tickets aren't quite sold out yet, so you still have an
Okay.
opportunity to get your ticket. What do they have to do that?
Okay.
And remind them about what's expected. November 5th. Go through the whole roll.
I sure will. The program is going to be on Sunday, November the 5th, from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock. Tickets are $25. You can get them by going on our webpage, csnproductions.com, and go to the event tab, and there we are. You can pay with your debit or credit card right there. Or if that's a little bit too much for you, you can do $CSN Pro, and do a Cash App and get that in. Now, wait a minute, seniors. I know you're going to say, well, Carolyn, I don't know too much about all that stuff. Well, you've been getting that too. Well, if that's your situation, you can call 484-222-0418. And our wonderful lady, Tawana, she will work with you and get you in. So either way, you can get to us. And we're looking forward to having you. As Anita said, we have a few tickets left. Come on in and be a part of the celebration. Can I give that telephone number again? Because my seniors are saying,
One
Carolyn,
more time. One more time.
I'll do the whole run. The csnproductions.com for those who are computer savvy, or for those who know how to use the phone, $CSN Pro. Now that's on Cash App. And for those of you who says, Carolyn, now that's a little bit too much. Listen, call 484-222-0418. And our wonderful young lady, Tawana, will take care of you and make sure you get in.
I'm just so tickled at your acting. She's just
I
acting
can't, but
over
I'm hiding
here.
now.
Like, oh, she's acting over here.
Who's that?
You.
Me. I am hyped because I went to the rehearsal. I know what you all get ready to see.
You know what they're going to see. I love it. I love it. But I want to thank you so much today for joining us to talk about the Gospel Soul Series concert that's coming up, and for joining us here on In the House Media. Yanina's the Beat. Forgive me. Well, we are talking about Philly because this is happening in Philadelphia.
That's right.
So let's make it people aware. In the House Media is located in Atlanta, but we cover entertainment all over. So this is a Philadelphia-based event. Just want to remind you guys. Okay. Again, thank you, Carolyn, Tanya, Reverend Tanya. We're sorry you couldn't make it, but we shared your information, and people are going to look forward to seeing you perform on Sunday. So get ready. Music, gospel for the soul. We got it coming up.
Yes.
All right. I don't know if Jerome's listening or not, but that's the end of the show. So I'm tapping out. You too. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.